Welcome back, team. What exactly the component we need to provision now, team? We also need to provision a component. I told you one thing from your diagram. The first thing what we are going to achieve now. Okay, let's understand one important concept now. How to register a VM into ADO as an agent. That's exactly the learning point we are going to see now, team. So that is the thing we are going to understand, and how to do that, and what are all the things we need to understand to make it clear, we'll see, team. Okay, all right, fine. So now you know already what exactly you need to do. Let me write down the steps. First we will write down the steps, then we will follow the steps. That is what exactly we will proceed. Firstly, what exactly you need to do, team? You can see this one. You can see this one. This is what exactly the connection we are going to make now. Without having this one, you cannot do anything in the Azure Cloud. Okay, first we need to do that. So firstly, what exactly we are doing? Provision the virtual machine in the portal. Correct? That's the first step which we are going to see now, team. Once you provision the virtual machine in the portal, what we need to do? Then log into the portal. That is the next step which we need to proceed. Once you log into the portal, then what you need to, this is what Azure portal actions which I am placing. There is another portal which is a ADO portal. Now I am separating these two things with a line, team. Okay, you should understand. So I am just separating these two with a line. Okay, this is the thing exactly I am highlighting for you. Now what exactly the point I am highlighting? Once you did this particular VM provisioning and log into the portal 22, now specially to log into the portal 22, always you need to have port 22 open. Okay, port 22 open. Port 22 is the one which will make sure your SSH connections are connected to your instance. This port will be opened by default. I will show this one how exactly this particular port being opened over there on your virtual machine. That one you can understand it. And also to connect to this particularly an instance, I need to have some IP, some name is required to connect to that one. That one we will call as public IP. We will slowly understand what is VNet, what is CIDR, what is address space, what is subnets, what is NSG. Slowly I'll take you to that particular level. But these are all the first basics. First you need to understand a bit here. I'm not going to the networking concept at all. I'm completely dealing with the public component because this is the public cloud, public component only. Okay, all right. Once you are done with this activity, now I am coming to the ADO portal. Now I am going to do one activity called, okay, create an agent pool. That's the first thing which I am going to do. If you create an agent pool, what will happen? If you have an agent pool, team, that is the pool exactly will help you to make a register of this particular virtual machine, team. That's exactly. See, all these VMs are sitting under a pool. That is the thing exactly I'm just placing. So all these VMs are under a pool. It's a collection of VMs. So create an agent pool. Then what you need to do? Select the relevant mission. Okay, whatever the mission you are provisioning, please select that particular mission type. Whether it is a Linux, whether it is a CentOS, whether it is a Mac, whether it is a Windows. You need to select accordingly, team. Once you select that particular mission type, then follow the instructions. Exactly, you need to follow the instructions. And finally, you should be able to run the install the agent and run the agent. Okay, run the agent. The moment when you start running this agent, automatically your VM will be successfully registered as a DevOps agent. That's exactly the problem statement or use case which we are going to achieve. Now we will focus on that. We will achieve that one, team, in this particular session. All right. Now let's go to the portal, team. Okay. I just separated these two things. I'm just keeping a title here so that you will understand. This is Azure portal. I will share this particular drawing screen or this particular document with you on weekly basis, team. Okay, so that easily you can refer. And this one is Azure DevOps. Okay, that's exactly the thing. Once you are ready, I'm just going to the home. Just go to the virtual mission. So for example, if you don't see the virtual missions, you can go there to the global search. You can just type it's a virtual mission. Just go there and type the virtual mission. Once you click on the virtual mission, I believe it will definitely recommend you a screen where you can click on the create button and you can click on here Azure virtual mission. Please proceed with this option first. Once you click on the Azure virtual missions, you know what exactly you need to do, team. You should be able to see some options. I showed these options in your previous class. Let's go there. Let's understand few more options in this particular session, because you cannot understand all virtual mission options in a single class time. It will take easily 5 to 6 classes only to understand virtual mission. But you no need to have such a knowledge, not really required. But we will get that one, but slowly. Not in this class itself, you will not understand anything in the day one class. Alright, you just come here, Azure subscription, okay. Alright, very important thing. Okay, so I already explained this particular resource group. Resource group is a collection of resources. Correct, team? That is what exactly I already discussed with you. I believe if I'm not wrong, I just discussed a little bit on this particular thing. I'm just creating one resource group. Resource group is a collection of resources, team. It's a collection of resources. Okay, I'm just coming here. I'm just keeping AZ hyphen. Just I'm just giving here. I think I'm just giving one particular identification for me. New hyphen. Just I'm just giving 22. Just giving. We will refer this particular identification for our batch, and we can follow this. AZ hyphen new hyphen 22. Alright, this is the resource group name exactly we are trying to provision. If you see in Azure Cloud, if you see something within the bracket, meaning that's going to be provisioned newly. Remember the point. Next, it is asking the virtual machine. I'm just taking there and just going there, just giving VM-22. I'm just giving one particular VM-22. That's okay. Just go there for that. There, I'm just going for the region. Now it is asking which region you want to deploy this particular virtual machine. Now if you open this one, team, you are seeing quite a number of regions over there. Nearly 60 plus regions are there, but easily you can simply select one of the region where your customer base is there. That's very important. Usually you will get this information from the customer or client only, team. Please be clear on this. I'm just taking Southeast Asia. That's a nearby region for me. That's why I'm just selecting that particular thing. Now you are seeing some availability options, especially availability zone. That's what exactly a little bit we understand in our previous class. Don't worry. And then another one is virtual scale set, another one is availability set. We are not touching any kind of redundancy at this moment because I don't require the HA. At this moment, I don't require HA. And also the security type is the standard one which we are considering, because the standard rules will apply for this particular virtual machine. I will show that. And finally, I'm picking up an image. What kind of image exactly you are trying to provision? You are trying to provision Ubuntu 20 or Windows 19 or Windows 22. Can be anything, whatever is there on the Ubuntu Linux distribution machine image. I'm just considering that. Okay, the VM architecture is the one which has been newly added for this particular VM provisioning team. I'm just keeping this one as it is. I also need to go through this one. I think they just want to provision different types of virtual machines, RX64, ARM64. Those are the two different models which they are just asking you to select the relevant one. I'm just keeping the default one as it is. I'm not touching this particular option. Even we also need to see what exactly this particular architecture. We need to learn more. So wherever Azure, if you don't know something, go there and learn more. And obviously the documentation, it will direct us to documentation where we will understand what is x86 processor, what is x64 processor, what exactly the differences, what exactly the benefit we will get. All those things we can understand by going through the documentation on it. But don't put too much effort on these areas. These are not really needed. If it is really needed, I will tell you which documentation which you need to go through it. Okay. Right. Next one is asking, run with Azure Spot discount. This is a very good option, team. I want to explain this option for you. This is a very good one which will help you for your real time. Okay, let me take an example, team. Now the problem here is what exactly the thing when you are provisioning your virtual machine. When you are provisioning your virtual machine, now what exactly the option it is offering you? Hey, you want to provision this virtual machine with this spot or not? That's a word exactly you are just listening, right? Spot instances. Now, what is spot instance? What exactly the spot instance? Can we really select the spot instance? If we select the spot instance, what is the drawback or what is the advantage we will get? You know, team, what will happen? For example, if you are deploying your infrastructure, especially in the Singapore region, example, I'm taking Singapore region. Okay. For example, if you opt in for, yes, I need a spot instance. You know what will happen? Azure have some infrastructure in the Singapore region, correct? You know that Azure has 3 zones in Singapore, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3. Okay, 3 zones have a different data center. Data centers has the infrastructure. Now, the point is, all the time 100% of the infrastructure cannot be occupied. Maybe obviously some 50% may be free and 50% is completely occupied. Now the point is, whatever the occupancy is there, forget about that. Whatever the things which are free, especially the Azure infrastructure has an infra in Singapore, still it can facilitate 1000 virtual machines for the customer. So such a capability is there for Azure. Let's assume now the time is 11:42. Now the time is 11:42. By the 11:42, Azure has a capability where they can provide 1000 virtual machines for the customer team. That is possible. Now tell me one thing, team. If 1000 virtual machines are possible with Azure, but immediately if you delete, if you provision one more also, same cost only will come. There is no difference. Then what is the benefit with the spot? So when you go for the spot, if you select the spot option for your virtual machine, you no need to do anything. You no need to do anything. So they have the, that's what exactly I'm just telling you. I'm just keeping a pool. This is what the Azure pool. This is what your virtual machine. This is Azure pool I'm talking about. Now what exactly the Azure will do, I'll tell. So when Azure has such a capability where they have a lot of infrastructure where they're not getting any income because this infrastructure no one is using, what they will do, you know, they will reduce the price on this particular virtual machine. They will reduce the price. Actually, for example, let's consider one series. Okay, just an example. You don't need to buy hard this series also. I'm just considering one series as B2S. The B2S has the capability of, I think it's a 2 core and a 4 GB RAM. 2 core and 4 GB RAM. Let's consider 2 CPU and 4 GB RAM. Okay, 4 GB RAM. Now let's consider 2 CPU and 4 GB RAM. That is what the B2S your virtual machine is holding. Now what is happening? You are paying monthly. Maybe you are paying some amount as some 38 US dollar. That is what you have built in. That is what you have built. So whether you use or you will not use, especially if you use especially 38 USD is not a fixed price. It's not a fixed price. I will show that. If you come here, see all sizes is there, right? Click on the see all sizes. When you click on the see all sizes here, for example, this is the BTS I'm talking about, 2 core and 4 GB RAM. I think it is charging you 38.54 US dollar. 38.54 US dollar is exactly the amount usually they will charge you. And remember one thing, this is not a fixed price. Usually you will be charged for the virtual machine on hourly basis. On hourly basis, usually you will be charged on the virtual machine. That is okay. Fine. Now, what is the question exactly I'm placing for you? Now, what are the virtual machine you are holding right now? Now, since Azure is offering some cheaper amount, maybe they can offer same B2S as the spot, and they can tell it's only $20 only. So for that next 1 or 2 or 3, 4 hours, usually your BTS will run on $20. But if you opt in for the spot on your virtual machine, if you select this option, immediately Azure will provide a spot instance instead of your actual on-demand instance. We'll call this one as on-demand instance, and we will call this one as a spot instance. Maybe let me keep some different color so that you will get an idea also. So these are all the things actually. Spot instance team. Okay, I'm just keeping a line here. These are all the spot instance. So these are all the spot instance where the spot instance are offered at the $20 US, cheapest amount. Now what exactly if you select for the spot instance on this particular your on-demand VM, The moment when the Azure has the capability with the infrastructure, they will exchange, they will pass this particular spot VM instead of on demand. Then that particular hour, 1 hour or 2 hour or 3 hour or 4 hour, whatever the Azure, until Azure don't get proper demand. If Azure get demand, they will take your spot instance immediately. If they don't get demand, they will keep this spot instance with you only. And your charge will be calculated for that particular time as $20 per month, meaning that you will be calculated on hourly on $20 per month basis. That is the calculation. Obviously, your monthly bill will be reduced. This is the one of the best technique which you can use in real time to just make sure on-demand VMs into the spot instances. And you may get doubt, hey, if on-demand will coming to the spot instances, what happened to my data? My data is there on the on-demand VM, right? Is there any problem for my data which is there already in the on-demand? No, you don't need to worry. What exactly they will do, whatever the disk, usually each and every machine has a disk. Even your laptop also has a disk. Right? So whatever the virtual machine, they have a disk, right? That disk will be attached to your spot instance. When spot being taken by the Azure, again that disk being attached to your on-demand again. That is how the cycle will go, Jen. That is how the cycle will go. So you don't need to worry about your data and all. Your data is 100% safe. Your data is 100% safe, Tim. That is what exactly they will make sure for the spot. Even that is a stateful watch. What is stateful? Again, another term, what is stateful? Stateful means it has some data. It has some data inside the virtual machine, which is really needed. That particular data, see, if you have some data inside the virtual machine, obviously always you will think, whether to go for that approach, whether to not to go, these kind of things usually you will think about. But confidently you can go for the spot instance and you can save a lot of amount for your organization. It will be a very good add-on for your career as well, Tim. Remember this particular point. To do these particular spot instances, few companies are there in the market. Maybe you might have heard few things. Maybe even now you are watching some YouTube channels or some other anything or there on the web browsers. Usually the commonly you heard the cost.ai is the commonly thing. Usually I think they'll advertise more usually. Cost.ai is the one. Usually they support these kind of things. You know what they are doing? You can do on your own. But you know what they are doing? They will help you. They will help you in replacing your on-demand with the spot instance. But there is one drawback. I want to tell you the drawback also. They will take back your spot instance by giving only 30 seconds time to you. 30 seconds only they will give. If any of your very important workload is running on your virtual machine, it will be impacted. Remember that one. Priyanka asked a very good question. Can spot be used for a production environment too or better for non-prod? It's absolutely for the non-prod environment only, Priyanka. Not for the production. Not at all. I will give you techniques what you need to apply if it is a production environment to save cost on the production. But at this moment, you should not use spot instances for the production at all. But the cost.ai and few other companies are also there. I can recall one more, which is a spot.io. Spot.io. So these two are the companies. Basically, the advantage of these companies is usually if you have a contract with these companies, they will help you in exchange your on-demand VM with a spot instance. And also, if the moment when Azure is informing we are taking back your VM and your actual VM will come, usually this process and all, you no need to worry at all. Whether your VM is coming back for the 30 seconds time, you no need to worry at all. Comfortably, you can leave to them. They have the AI algorithms. They will make sure your virtual machine is up and running. That is what usually they will make sure. Their solution is literally good for Kubernetes clusters because we tested it really well. Kubernetes clusters savings, definitely the savings a lot if you use this kind of cost.ai, spot.ai. I told you an example, right? We saved a lot. We saved a lot for the company for one specific project. That's where the bill was coming as $45K per month. Now today the estimated bill is $10K per month. You don't even trust that. but we saved the cost without impacting any business. But we use few techniques. We use a Terraform technique also in between, where we should be able to bring the infrastructure within few minutes if something happens to the environment. That is what exactly we have some backup plans also. That is how exactly we manage that. Alright team. So that's exactly the advantage of this particular Spot instance system. Alright, let's go there. Let's go there to our part. Now I'm just selecting the B2S. You just go there and just select that particular, and you just select that particularly on the select button, okay? Once you select the select button, I'm just selecting the compute size as B2S. That's okay, not an issue. Then followed by, so Spot instances I'm not selecting team. I don't require this one. Maybe I can simulate this case maybe in your real-time project, then I will simulate. But for now, not required. And also what kind of authentication? Usually you can make either key-based authentication or password-based authentication team. Anything is fine. I'm just selecting a password-based authentication. There I'm just selecting Azure user, followed by there you need to give some password for this particular thing. You need to give some password team, okay? You need to remember the password also. Remember that one team, okay? So that is what exactly we are doing at this moment. We are just passing this particular thing. Okay, that's it. That's it team, okay? That's it. Alright, so far good. Now it is asking port rules. What exactly the port you are trying to open, especially on the virtual machine? Yes, we are keeping SSH port 22 on HTTPS ports are not really needed at this moment. You don't need to select anything, but port 22, please open this one. But it is telling all traffic from the internet will be blocked by default, but you will be able to change inbound port rule. The point here is another problem here. You open port 22. This is not so good for the production application. You should not open any port for the production. We will not use any VM in the production because our model is already containerized model. We will never think about this kind of virtual machine, especially in the production team. Don't worry. Alright, let's go for the next disk, okay? You know very well that. So each and every virtual machine will be provided with one OS disk. That is what exactly. I don't require the premium SSD disk especially. You can go for the, instead of going for the hard disk drive, you can go for the standard SSD. It saves some cost for you. It saves some cost, okay? Don't go for the premium. Premium is little bit costly. It will charge you little more cents. Just select the standard SSD, that is okay. And especially there is one more option. Delete with VM. So you know one thing team. So most of the time in real time team, whenever this option is enabled, right? You please disable this one. I will tell the advantage team. I will tell the advantage and disadvantage also for you. Advantage is when someone accidentally delete this virtual machine, but you can still restore your virtual machine by using this disk. No problem. No problem. But you need to remember that one. Yes, you unchecked this one. You know the reason why? For example, team, you deleted the virtual machine, but you forgot to delete the OS disk. Obviously, your OS disk will charge you on daily basis. I think it will come. If you take standard SSD, that's okay. If it is go for the premium again, it will be more and more. I think it's a storage only. That is what the charge usually will come to you. My suggestion is uncheck this one. Don't check it, uncheck this one. That's the only thing. Especially how exactly they are managing the security on your OS disk by using the platform manager key or the customer managed or Azure managed. Those things are the options. You no need to touch all these things on there. Don't touch anything. Leave it. And especially the data disk, I don't want to attach any data disk at this moment. I don't require any data needs to be stored on the VM. That's why I'm simply continuing with the OS disk. Go for the networking. Especially, I don't want to talk anything on the networking today. Today is not the time for you to understand the networking concept. Maybe after 2 classes, I will deal the networking for you. But at this particular moment, whatever the things are there with the default, I'm just keeping as it is team. There is one virtual network, there is one subnet, there is one public IP. New. You're seeing new. New means it's newly provisioned. It's going to be provisioned newly, going to be provisioned newly, going to be provisioned newly. Even public IP. See, you know one thing team. If you think one thing, this is your VM, correct? This is your VM. For example, if public wants to connect to your VM, what exactly you will do? Not only VM. Think anything. Not only VM. Maybe some app service or some application or any of the Azure component. If you want to connect publicly, this guy I'm just considering this guy is a public. Okay, this guy is a public. Okay. Now you want to connect to this particular virtual machine. For example, you want to connect to this virtual machine. What exactly the thing this person require? This person require IP address. In the cloud world, in the networking world, each and every instance will be identified by using IP address. So if you provide an IP address, that to public IP address, if you provide the public IP address for him and also the credential, then easily he can log into your virtual machine. That is what usually he can do. So the public IPs are required to just manage the public to connect to your virtual machine. That is what exactly you need to deal the case. Now you just come here, there public IP you are seeing, right? Their network security group is the basic one. The port is 22. It is telling this is only recommended for testing. This is what I'm telling you, because you are opening a port for the internet. That is not so safe. That's what exactly they're talking about them. That's okay, all right. We are not caring that. Again, Azure will charge you for the public IP also too. Azure will charge you for the public IP also. You know why? The public IPs are not owned by Azure. Again, Azure is buying public IPs from IANA, Internet Authority Number System. They are buying public IPs from IANA. You can search in the internet. IANA. So they are buying these particular public IPs from IANA. That's why Azure needs to pay the amount to the IANA. That's why they will not give you these particular things for free, team. They will not give you. Now, very good question. Dinesh asks, size pricing is high. Is the deduction instant? No. Never. See, that is what cloud computing definition is. What is cloud computing definition? You will be charged on the pay-as-you-go model. Whatever you are utilizing, that one only you will be charged. For example, your VM ran today for 1 hour. You will be charged for that particular moment. Maybe in few cents only you will be charged. It's not like the $38 will be deducted from you. Not at all. Even your free credit is over, Azure will not charge you even single rupee from your card. They will inform you, hey, your credit is over. If you want to continue, you can continue with your credit card. Will that be okay? This is the thing exactly they will ask you. They'll suggest you, even not ask, they'll suggest you. But after 30 days, your subscription by default will be disabled. So no additional charge until and unless you did something. Okay, you did something. If you cross that particular $200 worth free account or some 13,000 or 12,000, right? That amount, if you cross it, obviously, then immediately they will disable your subscription. On top of it, if you intentionally enable it, then you will be charged. Okay, that's a common thing. All right, team. The next important thing here is there is a delete public IP, right? There you are seeing delete public IP and nice even VM is deleted. If you are interested to delete, I think most probably you no need to resort the public IP. No need to resort the public IP, because I can give one use case for you, team. For example, in your company, business analyst or project managers, crowd all the stakeholder team, usually they will connect to your database. That's a common thing. Okay, when they are connecting to the database, I think they need a virtual machine help. I will tell what is exactly the help. That concept is a jump host help. We'll discuss that one after a few sessions. But the point is, all stakeholders are well aware of your public IP of the VM. All of a sudden, if you bring up a new VM with a new IP, you need to inform entire team. You need to inform each and every one. Hey, you need to change the public IP. You need to change the public IP. You need to change the public IP. Instead, if you reserve the public IP, you can provision one more VM. You can assign the same public IP to the VM. Then you don't need to worry at all. That is the advantage in the use case. Okay. So, but you don't know how to delete a public IP. How to associate and disassociate a public IP for a VM. I will show you. Don't worry. How to do that. The case is, if already IP is well known to your team members, if all of a sudden, if you lose this IP, it's very difficult again to cascade the same information as, okay, I lost the IP. You please use the new IP. Instead, what I'm telling, don't delete that one. Just keep it. But you will be charged, but you need to remember as you need to delete if there is no use. That's a cleanup activity which you need to consider. Right. So this is accelerating networking. This is not really needed, just to make sure whatever your disk write or disk read things to be very fast, usually you can go for that, but your VM size is not supporting this. But we don't require the load balancer and all. Go for the management, not really need, no need to fill anything. Go for monitoring, no need to fill anything. Go for advanced, no need to fill anything. Just go for the application. There, the application tags are there, team. So tags are there. Especially, I'm very much interested to fill the tag, team. You know why? Because if you fill the tag, that is the thing exactly will help you to understand what is the charges coming for the virtual machine. I told you this example, right? The tags are the best way to just identify the cost on the resource, any resource or service. So you need to keep that point in your mind. Once you are ready, just click on the review create and finally click on create button. That's all, team. So once you click on the create button, then your virtual machine will be provisioned in few seconds and it will be ready for you, team. It will be ready for you. That's exactly the thing you can sense with this. Okay, that's exactly the thing. Okay, let's wait for this virtual machine to be ready, then we'll continue on the remaining. Okay, all right, team. Any questions so far? Now it's time for you. Any questions so far? I'm saying also, should I keep the public inbound ports as you can block it, Dinesh? You can block it. Okay, you don't need to open anything on the public specially. Okay, you can completely block it. Why sign in is required? I think it's just a moment. Usually it will not ask any sign in. I don't know why it is asking sign in. Okay, no worries. I think maybe some internet dropped in between. Just a second. Oh, come on. Okay. Experience an authentication issue. Ubuntu server. Okay. All right. Let me take a look on this one, team. Let me take a look on this. Oh, deployment succeeded. I'm seeing deployment succeeded. Just a second, team. I'm just reloading the screen. I think I'm seeing some overlaying screen on top of it. If it is logged out, I think I will log in. Don't worry. Let me see whether my VM is ready or not. All right, I see. VM22 is running. VM22 is running, team. Just open this particular VM22. Now that's the thing exactly we are seeing on the screen, team. That's absolutely all right. It is under running state, and we have given an IP address to this VM. That's the IP address. That's awesome. And this is the exactly the pricing model we selected: 2 CPU and the 4 GB RAM. Right? This is the OS we selected. Correct. This is the virtual network by default which we consider. Don't worry on this. I will discuss these things in detail. Even DNS also, don't worry. And this is my subscription ID. Exactly, you can think. And this is the tag exact. Oh, sorry, I just spelling mistake. You just click on the edit button. I think you can go there and you just give this particular correction to him. Okay, I'm just giving the application and just save it. Okay. Okay, I just I edited the tags. I think these are the information, and this is a private IP because you deployed on the virtual network. But don't worry on the VNet concepts. Okay, I haven't discussed anything. Don't worry. And the NIC card identification is NIC card name. This one NIC card, network interface card. But you don't need to worry on this particular detailed things on the NIC card. But this is the NIC card which you can see. I don't know why they are displaying. Usually they will not display here. Usually they will display under the networking section. Here also you can see the NIC card. Okay, this is the NIC card exactly you are thinking about. This is the NIC card. All right, fine, team. See, the port 22 is exactly by default open. It's completely open for everything. It is allowed. Everything it is allowed. I will show you how to block this particular port going forward also, team. All right, team. So we understand how to provision a virtual machine. We understand how exactly the spot discounts, what exactly the use of that. Those things are also we understand, right? Thank you for the session. See you in the next part.